Okay, so you know how it is as an executive, you've got a million things on your plate,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And honestly, business risks are probably the last thing you want to be thinking about.
Right.
But but what if there's a way to like get ahead of those risks,
Yeah.
and maybe even save some money along the way?
Sounds good to me.
Well, that's kind of what we're going to be diving into today.
Right.
We're looking at a service called a Commercial Insurance and Risk Management Diagnostic Review.
Okay.
Now, before you tune out and think of this as another sales pitch, just hang with me for a sec.
Sure.
I was actually checking out this firm called BDI Insurance here in Central Texas, and this diagnostic review thing they do, it really kind of caught my eye.
Interesting.
And they kind of describe it as like popping the hood on your current insurance program.
I like that.
Yeah, to really like see what's working, what's not,
Mm.
and maybe where you might be, exposed a little bit.
I see.
And what I thought was really interesting is they're not just looking at like your premiums.
No.
They're going deeper, right?
Yeah.
Really analyzing how your coverage like actually aligns with the risks you're facing
Right.
and how you can kind of strengthen your whole risk management approach.
That's a really important point because a lot of times executives just assume that their risk management is adequate.
Yeah, you just figure you've got it covered.
Right, exactly. And they don't realize that the business landscape is constantly changing.
Always moving, yeah.
New risks come up all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Regulations change and, businesses themselves grow and evolve.
Right, your needs change.
So this diagnostic review, what it does is it gives you a fresh perspective from an expert.
Like a checkup.
Yeah, it's like having a specialist come in, do a thorough risk checkup on your business.
Okay.
Identify potential blind spots and areas you can improve.
So you're not just waiting for the shoe to drop and then trying to like put out the fire.
Right.
You're actually getting ahead of it.
Exactly.
I could see how this would be super valuable for, folks in leadership positions.
Yeah,
Especially when you're responsible for, keeping the business healthy
absolutely. And resilient.
and making sure it can actually weather any storm.
Yeah, think about financial liabilities, for example.
Okay.
Many executives are surprised to find gaps in their coverage.
Really?
Oh, yeah, which could leave them exposed if something unexpected happened.
Like a lawsuit or something?
Exactly, a lawsuit or some unforeseen event.
Wow.
This review helps them find those gaps and make sure they've got the right protection in place.
To actually protect the company?
Yes, to safeguard their assets.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I guess this all plays into that idea of making the business more resilient, right?
Absolutely.
Which is got to be top of mind for every executive
It should be.
when you think about it.
By identifying and mitigating potential risks, you're not just protecting against financial losses.
Right, it's bigger than that.
You're also minimizing disruptions to your operations.
Keeping things running smoothly.
Exactly, and that's critical these days.
Oh, for sure.
Especially in today's world.
So much uncertainty.
Think about supply chain problems.
Oh, yeah.
Cyber attacks.
Huge these days.
All kinds of unforeseen events that can really derail a company.
Yeah, you could be chugging along and then all of a sudden,
Boom.
yeah, it's like, how do we even recover from this?
Right.
And speaking of cyber attacks, that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Sure.
It seems like you can't go a day without hearing about a new data breach
Yeah, it's everywhere.
or a ransomware attack.
It's a constant threat.
So how does this diagnostic review actually deal with that growing concern?
Well, cybersecurity is a major focus of the review.
Okay.
We assess your current cybersecurity setup looking for vulnerabilities and recommend ways to strengthen your defenses.
Makes sense.
This might involve reviewing your cyber liability coverage, making sure it aligns with your actual risk, and that you've got enough protection if a breach does happen.
So it's like being proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly.
Getting ahead of the problem.
Rather than waiting for something bad to happen and then scrambling.
Right, right.
And the benefits go beyond just risk mitigation.
Oh, really?
When you show a strong commitment to risk management, you actually build confidence with your stakeholders.
Interesting.
Investors, board members, even your employees.
They see that you're taking it seriously.
They know that you're looking out for the company's future.
Okay, so we've talked about the why this diagnostic review is important.
Right.
But let's get into the what.
Sure.
What's actually involved in this thing?
It's really a collaborative process.
Okay.
We work side by side with the executive team to understand their business,
Right.
their current risk management practices, and what their specific concerns are.
So it's tailored to their needs.
Exactly. We'll review their existing insurance policies,
Got it.
look at the past claims data,
Okay.
and then we conduct a really thorough assessment of their risk profile.
I was reading up on BDI insurance, and they seem to have a ton of experience working with growing businesses right here in Central Texas.
That's right. We're deeply rooted in this community.
And I bet that local expertise is really valuable,
It is.
especially when it comes to understanding the unique risks that businesses face in this area.
Absolutely. Understanding the local context is key.
Yeah.
We're familiar with the regulations,
Right.
the industries, and even those specific challenges that come with rapid growth.
That makes a lot of sense.
So we can provide really targeted recommendations.
That actually apply to them.
Precisely.
So we've covered the why and the what.
Right.
Now, what about the how?
Okay.
How does an executive actually get this process started?
It's surprisingly simple.
All right, lay it on me.
They can just reach out to BDI Insurance directly
Okay,
and schedule a consultation.
easy enough.
That's it. And from there, we walk them through the entire process,
Right.
make sure it's tailored to their needs and their timeline.
And speaking of timeline, you mentioned earlier that it's best to do this before the next insurance renewal cycle.
Yes, that's idea.
Why is the timing so important?
Well, by doing the review beforehand, you have more time to implement any recommendations,
I see.
negotiate better terms with insurers,
Oh, that's smart.
and potentially even lower your premiums.
Get ahead of it.
It puts you in a much stronger position to make informed decisions about your insurance program.
So to wrap things up, it seems like this Diagnostic review, it's more than just a checkup on your insurance.
It is.
It's really a strategic tool
Right.
that can help executives manage risk,
Yeah.
protect their business,
Mm-hmm.
even gain a competitive advantage.
Absolutely.
And here's something to think about.
Okay.
In this crazy world we live in,
Right.
with everything changing so fast,
Yeah.
can you really afford not to be proactive about risk management?
It's a question every executive should ask themselves.
For sure. All right, thanks for joining me today.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, take care.
You too. ISM.